Heatvienna podcast is the first English podcast and the first podcast over Discord. We have Gunboi, rapper, producer. You born in New York, right?
Yes.
Born in New
Hmm.
York, raised in Virginia?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that on Genius. Work with
Yes.
people like Migos, Tory Lanez, fucking Young Thug. What's your favorite US placement that I'm missing right now? Your favorite US rapper that I didn't say right now?
My favorite ones right now, Doughboy.
You got a placement with him, right?
Yes, Doughboy. The song
Yeah.
called "Troublesome" because Lex Luger's on that. The G Herbo song.
Wait, Lex, who's on that?
Lex Luger also
Lex
produced it.
Luger.
It's me, Lex Luger, Palace, and Southside on the beat.
That's fucking sick. All right, so Doughboy, your favorite placement?
That's one of them. And then this one song called "Lonely" by Destroy Lonely is amazing.
Destroy
I love the
Lonely
song.
too. Damn, I didn't even know, bro.
Yeah, on his album, I have two tracks on his album.
Yo, that's fucking sick. You didn't even mention it, right? On your the credits are not updated on Instagram, right?
No, that's not updated on Instagram. No, that's those
Okay.
are old.
And
That,
even
that was like that was
Kid,
like
mhm.
maybe 2 years ago. Made that post,
Yeah,
so it's been a
yeah.
while since then.
And even Germans like Crow, Rin, and you got a song where you're rapping with Dardan, right?
Yes,
Yeah, for sure. So, pretty impressive list, man. Gotta say.
thank you.
Um,
Yeah,
so
but sometimes I look back at it, I'm like, oh shit, it's a nice list. Yeah, it's
yeah, for
cool.
sure. So, how you doing
Mm.
today, man? How's your day been?
Good. I was actually playing World of Warcraft with Robin today. Like nowadays, I like to take creative breaks, so I get inspired,
Yeah, yeah.
like. I really like when I have like the urge to make music. So sometimes I'll like take a break and just play video games for the day. I'm at my girlfriend's place, so I was just too lazy to go home to my studio. Saw my homie,
So you
and
only
I'm
work at the
dropping a song
studio.
tonight. Actually,
Are you dropping a song tonight?
yeah, I'm dropping a song tonight. Actually, at midnight it comes out, so I'm super excited because I'm putting like a lot of push into my solo work for the rest of the year. So I'm excited to see how it goes.
What are you more excited about, the rapping stuff or the producing side?
Honestly, producing kind of comes natural to me because I started music as a jazz piano player. So like I just kind of like really see songs in a really basic structure. And so when we're at a studio, it's very easy for me to be like, okay, like what idea should we do? Because I feel like every idea for a song, if you go on like the top 50 charts and shit, there's really only like max, I think, like five chord progressions, and that's
Yeah.
really being generous. That's
Hmm.
really like progressions. Like the keys might change, even though the most popular keys are G sharp minor and D sharp minor. Those are the two most popular keys in all pop songwriting. But sometimes the keys change, especially in rap music. But the chord progressions are quite similar a lot of the times.
Mm.
And it's because those are chord progressions that really work, to like get a listener's attention. So seeing music that way, it's very easy for me to sit down, in any session, and just be like, okay, what's the idea? Do we like this, like, or like this, like, like, something like, I mean, like, it's just different ideas that set moods, but like, it's kind of like from a small selection, you know what I mean? It's just based on the vibe. So, so producing is something that's just like always natural to me when I'm in a room, you know what I mean? No matter if I'm making music with like four different people, like maybe they're gonna be maybe it's like this guy's song today, you know what I mean? And like, we're just working on some stuff and then they take it and bring it to somebody else and blah blah blah, you know what I mean?
But isn't
So it's
jazz
like,
like the complete opposite? Jazz is like without rules. Am I right? Like normally you have
so
rules, you have
nah,
scales.
jazz, there's rules to jazz, but like you have to know the rules to know how to break the rules. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for
That's what
sure.
jazz is about.
Okay.
So like in jazz, you have like you know, for example, the jazz standards, right? In jazz, you have like a certain amount of chords. Or even blues, like blues is always 1 4 1. Like one. It's always like a certain form. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And like the thing is that like the chords might change and the notes of the things might change, but the form is similar. And so when you understand the form, then you start messing around and fucking around and start doing all the shit because you know the form, you know where to go. So even if you like start going hella chromatic and shit, you know, you're still following the form in your head and you could bring it back, and that's what makes jazz beautiful, you know what I mean? Because it can go all over the place, you know what I
You still
mean?
listening
But
to jazz?
really, yeah, I always listen to
Yeah.
jazz. I sometimes I listen to more. I got phases where I listen to way more jazz than like rap and stuff like that, you know?
When did you get into jazz?
That was the first thing I was into as a kid. I didn't care about rap or any pop music when I was a kid. I was only playing
When
jazz.
you were in New
Like,
York?
no, no. So I was in New York till I was like what, like 6 years old, and then started moving to Virginia. We moved to a place called Woodbridge first, and then to Fairfax, and then I started playing piano when I was like 10 years old because like I was like running track and stuff like that, and I just didn't like any of it, and I was just into video games, and I was always like singing and making up stuff, and then like I was like, yeah, I want to learn piano, and so I started getting good when I was like 11 or 12. But like that's actually late for piano because like everybody else was like 6 years old
Yeah.
playing holy shit, you know what I mean, blah blah blah, you know. So yeah, but I started learning, and like because I hated reading music, I started. That's how I got more into jazz, you know, because I didn't like reading music. I like soloing on piano and stuff like
Mm.
that, you know. And when you first learn piano, you gotta learn classical and stuff, and I hated that. I like I
Yeah.
hated classical. It was like so, and I was so nervous always playing classical because it's really about like not messing up, doing it right, the
Mm.
intonation and stuff. So
And jazz is more
I
about
got
your
more.
feeling, right? Like you really let out, can really like express yourself. I will believe in jazz rather than
Yeah,
just
yeah,
play.
jazz is about expression and making a good song, and classical is about interpretation of a piece. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like like in classical, you know, like in a classical competition, three people might play the same song, you know, but the judges are judging it on like how they communicated that song. You know what I'm saying? And like that's the thing. It's like it's less. There's creativity in that. I can't say there's not, but like for me, it was so rigid because you really had to master this song and then like master a way of playing this song that like some high up teacher is like, yes, this is the way they want to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
So have your friends always also been into this kind of music when you were small?
Oh yeah, when I was young, all my homies were like, I had a friend who was a crazy metal player. You know, shouts out Jeremy. My homie Nick, he was a crazy like guitar player, a Spanish
Really?
guitar player. My homie Connor, he was another great metal guitarist. I had a friend, his name is Andrew Fisk. He was like literally the best musician probably in our state. Like this guy was like a genius, you know. And then there's this chick. Her name was Jackie. She's actually doing shit on Instagram. Her name's Neon Vines. But we were in a band back in the day. I had bands and shit when I was younger, and like we had bands and we were just playing around,
Like
playing
rock
gigs and
bands?
doing shows. Yeah, it was like progressive rock jazz type stuff, you know, never vocals really. We're just sometimes no, we had one band with vocals. I made one band called Booyaka, and this band had vocals, and I was just like freestyling, rapping, and playing jazz piano over these like ska type of beats, like really jazz jammy beats. But like, yeah.
But
We just went to shows around. This is before like streaming and shit like that. So like the idea of like putting out your own music, it was just like on MySpace and shit, you know. And we did that stuff, but like, um, and then Facebook when that came out and shit. But like this was before Spotify, you know, because we were younger. So it was fucking yeah. It was just playing bands and trying to make money doing shows and shit, you know. And then we get distracted because one person gets a girlfriend or like get a job. You know what I mean? Just life shit. You know what I mean? It wasn't like nobody like none of us really were like, oh, we gotta take this band to the fucking top. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Because like it was just fun for us, and everyone also had like other musical ideas. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. Because
Like,
often when you're younger and you like listen to a specific type of music, it's because you like the lifestyle or like the thing that this music encompasses, like which is more than just the
exactly.
music. Has this been the case with progressive rock and stuff too? Like, what
I
was the
mean,
thing that you
honestly,
thought is sick back then?
to me, the lifestyle I thought was sick was the jazz lifestyle. That was for me like what I wanted to live. You know what I mean? But like, what is the jazz lifestyle? You know what I mean? It's not like anything like it was just the jazz lifestyle was really just playing. I wanted to play shows at jazz bars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do was just go to like these smoky ass jazz bars, play piano and shit, and everyone's like, oh, I mean, snapping and shit. You know, like that was it really. I just wanted to play a jazz bar. I never really cared about like the culture around music that much. As a kid, I kind of like I'm one of those people who like I don't trust I just naturally don't trust anything.
Hmm.
And so growing up I heard a lot when I heard hip hop and stuff and like got into it more, I was like, oh, these guys are just like, telling stories. It's just like bullshit and you know what I mean? Like no like, 'cause I was like, no way you sold this much coke. Like no way you did. I was like, and you rap like just I just had that perspective like when I was young. So like I never really was too like impressed with rap based on the lifestyle and shit. It wasn't until like um really I gotta say like Kanye, Lupe Fiasco, Young Jeezy, and then Jay Z.
Mm.
Jay Z is my ultimate favorite, but like I started listening to those guys, and then I got really deep into hip hop, like the jazzy stuff. You know what? Jay Dilla and New Jabez. New Jabez is like a legend, but like I was super into anime, and there's an anime called Samurai Champloo, and when this came out, I had the best soundtrack and shit, and like it was by this producer named New Jabez, and then I started listening to his albums and shit, and I loved the mix. That's what really got me into hip hop was the mix of jazz and hip hop, and how hip hop was like the son of jazz. You know what I'm saying? And
Jazz
so
and
I
hip
loved
hop.
when
Like using
so
jazz
like
samples and shit.
yes. So like Biggie so like I loved Biggie songs because like it sampled like the Isley Brothers and like fucking what the Tupac song like Do for Love which samples this other great song. I don't know, but I love sample hip hop, you know what I mean? That's what I loved about it, the samples and the beats. That got me into producing because I loved like the samples and the beats together. I didn't really care about the rapping too much unless the rapping was some really dope poetic shit. And that's the shit that I liked a lot. So like I
So
never liked mainstream rap that much.
how about the
Like
modern way of sampling, which is big right now? What do you think about this in comparison to the old school way?
this is dumb. This is lame. I mean, or maybe it's the same because I say let's see, like what? It's 2020, right?
20.
2022. If you sample a record from the 90s, that's kind of like almost like more than 20 years ago. It's like 30
Yeah.
years ago, kind of. So in the 90s, when they were sampling records 30 years ago, that's like a 70s record. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there was still
Or
yeah,
60s, yeah.
there's some 70s jazz being produced. You know what I'm saying?
But the
Let
thing
me
is,
just, let
right
me
now they sample like
let me
early
see.
2000s and shit because that's what we right now when we were kids. This was like the big shit, you know, the shit in the at the school disco and shit. So everybody has this nostalgia around it, and when you just sample it, it doesn't really matter that much what you do with it. It's just the nostalgia that already hits, and the people like it immediately, you know.
Exactly, and like yeah, maybe it's corny to us, but maybe back in the 90s it was corny to them to hear some samples. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So like yeah, so actually, I kind of get it because that's the thing. Like, for example, like I love it when you call me Big Papa. That song, that sample's an amazing song. Like, that's an amazing song on its own. Between the Sheets by the Isley Brothers. You know what I mean? That's like a class. That song on its own does not need to be is a great, beautiful song. You know what I mean? But Diddy sampled it and then made the Biggie song, and that's a big song now. You know what I mean? And maybe back then there were people who thought that was corny and lame, you know what I mean?
For sure.
But
I mean,
but
there's always
nowadays,
people hating, you know. Always the older people are always hating on new shit. I mean, that's
yeah,
natural, right?
exactly, and I feel like I'm definitely in that camp too because I don't like the whole TikTok like, you know, you hear like oh it's a song from the early 2000s or a song from the 90s, but with like a drill beat on it, and then they're like just like rapping on it like yeah, it's definitely super cheap and corny, you know, sometimes. But sometimes some cool things come out of it. So I feel like everything goes in cycles. You
Yeah.
know, I guess we're in the sample era right now. You know,
People are gonna
I
get tired of it eventually, you know, and then some, because right now it's very poppy, very mainstreamy.
hmm
Eventually people are gonna get tired of it and trying to push rap with a big message, you know, like back in the days. But you know a lot about old school hip hop, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as. I know there are other people who know more than me for sure, but you know.
Yeah, but you grew up like learning about it, right? When you were a
Yeah, I
teen.
grew up only caring about old school hip hop. Like I only cared about, Reasonable Doubt, Only Built for Cuban Links by Raekwon and Ghostface, and of course like early Kanye, Lupe Fiasco. That's really honestly that I feel like Lupe Fiasco is a rapper that people need to know about because he's like probably like the best, one of the best ever,
All
but
right.
like never got so much big shine. You know what I mean?
Why you think he's so sick? To be honest, I couldn't name one song of him right now.
You remember the song Kick, Push, Kick, Push,
No.
Post?
Lupe
Oh
Fiasco.
man. All right, yeah, he's on Touch the Sky with Kanye. Have you ever
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
Touch the
yeah, yeah,
Sky?
for sure.
Yeah, he's the feature on that song. But he has this one song called Hurt Me Soul, which in my opinion is one of the greatest verses ever written. Like just that's the thing. To me rap, like I really care about bars, and like some people
Okay.
have such amazing poetry and shit where it's just like, wow, this is amazing poetry. Like, you just have to
Hmm.
clap when you hear some shit. So for me, that's the shit that makes me excited about rap. You know what I mean?
I mean,
It's
that's the
like,
thing that gets many people into rap, you know?
yeah, the poetry exactly. I feel like nowadays you get by just like swagging on the beat and saying some cool shit. You know what I mean? And that's like, that's cool and chill. But you know, it's a balance. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
balance.
So,
It's a
has
balance.
there been a rap scene in Virginia when you were a teen?
Yeah, for sure. Like, what? Um, there's a dude named Peter's son. He's coming up, right? He's like coming up. He's doing this thing. Um, there's actually this homie. His name is Fly Anakin, and he's like blowing up in New York right now. Kind of.
Really,
He's
right
like been,
now?
yeah, like right now he's like getting good plays. He's definitely more of like that lyrical rap kind of style, and that kind of has like its own lane. You know what I mean? It doesn't really like blow up the same way. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like a lot of different types of rap. You know what I mean?
I think you can
And then
also
what?
blow up on TikTok with some lyrical shit if it's just like a good joke or some shit, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Something that's like hitting like this. If you build up a joke for too long, attention span is too fucking fried right now. But if you get the joke across, you always gotta dumb it down. You heard, like, I watched a video
I feel
about
like
it right now. Like, you know, there's Joey
TikTok is
Badass,
dope
but
because
yeah,
TikTok is cool because people love to see talent. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
No matter what it is. So
yeah.
like, if people come through with great bars or like a really dope cut of how they're making a beat and stuff like that, that's just dope.
You post a
Sadly,
lot there?
hmm?
You post a lot there?
I just started getting on TikTok, and for me, I'm actually I'm not the type of person to film myself making a beat
Yeah.
or like or even like, yo, check out my song, like hear the lyrics and shit, da da da. I hate all that shit. So like for me, I just make jokes and like, I just fuck around and then put my music in the background, and I'm like, hey, and just talk about, shit that I'm thinking about in Germany and stuff like that.
I
I
mean,
just got more serious about it the last couple days.
I mean, there's like so many different ways you can blow on TikTok. You don't have to do the corny shit. But I saw like your German song. You posted this one on TikTok, right? When you
Yeah,
premiered
House
it.
Mouse. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is probably the first TikTok I saw of yours.
Yeah, House Mouse is a classic. Actually, I have a whole German tape
Really?
that's like, yeah, it's like the. There's actually, all right, actually, I want you to put this out there. There's a song called Aufgerist. It's me and Tim, me and Time.
No.
You know what I mean?
What? What's it called?
It's called it's called Aufgerist, like excited in German. Aufgerist or
Aufgeregt.
something.
Okay, I get
Yeah,
it. Okay.
Aufgeregt. Okay. And Time has it, but he won't drop it. He won't. He won't. He won't drop. He don't want to let me have it too, because
He's
He
scared
says
to
my
get a
lyrics
job.
are he says my lyrics are too explicit.
Too
But
explicit. In German.
yeah.
All right. Do you even speak German in Germany, or you rather speak English, right?
Ja, ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch, aber es ist immer schwer für mich zu sprechen mit perfekt Grammatik
Yeah, yeah.
und
It's
alles
fucking
die Deutschregeln,
fucking
you know.
complicated. Yeah. So when you start, how do you get into producing, like producing rap music?
Well, when I got into making like rap in general, like first I was making beat, I was like playing piano. Then eventually my uncle gave me a keyboard and I downloaded some programs. I got Reason and I started learning to make beats and stuff. And so first it was just like making beats for myself and stuff like that.
To rap
And
on?
yeah, I was just making beats for myself and then I started rapping on them, you know what I mean? And then and then what? And then I was just in this city called Richmond, and I was making beats. Like there was like other people in my university around, and they were also rapping, and they're like, "Yo, send me a beat." So I started, sending beats and shit. And then I was on the Kanye forums and the Hypebeast forums on the internet, and I was like always talking to people and shit, just talking about life and shit. And like I was like, "Yeah, I
It
make
was
beats."
big, right?
And
Kanye Forum.
it was huge, yeah. To the dude, everybody was there. DJ
DJ
Academics was
Academics.
there. Who else? Fucking Odd Future was
How
there.
long ago was
Um,
that?
ASAP Yams was there. This is like 2008. This is
2008. Damn.
this is like 2008 to like 2000. Like, well, it started 2000 like till ASAP Rocky got big. I would say like that's where it kind of died down after ASAP. I think
Okay.
that was like kind of the beginning of the end of like that underground scene. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? Like, but that was back then, and like I talked to Yams back then and shit like that, and I was like sending them beats, but nothing ever happened with that. And there was this rapper named Aaron Cohen back then. He was signed to Mass Appeal, and that was like one of my first like placements, I guess,
All right.
and like. Yeah, it was like just an old school type beat and shit, like lo-fi ish, but like it was cool. And then there was other rapper who was signed to Manny Fresh at the time. His name was Carmine. Gave him stuff, blah blah. And then I was just working with people like in my city, I was just like local rappers in the city and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then like yeah, and then I what?
Do you think it was easier to like connect with people on the Kanye Forum than it is now on Instagram?
Oh yeah, for sure. Back then, everybody was just there. You know what I'm saying? I still talk to some of those people to this
Yeah.
day. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like, yeah, everybody was just chilling there. Now with Instagram, it's different because like back then, like when you're on a forums, it's just like a name and a picture, and like your clout is just like what you actually like do in real life. You know what I'm saying? And then
Mm.
and like how also like how cool you talk on the forums. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like on the hype beast forums, because like a lot of some of the people there were LA based and shit like that, and like that was like the first culture of like lining up for Supreme and shit like that and stuff like that, and they didn't really have a culture for that shit in VA, but that shit was going on in LA and New York, and I remember that's how like like back then I remember like Tyler was posting on the forums and shit, and he was getting some like attention because other people knew him from standing in the line for Supreme and shit like that. You know what I'm
Ah.
saying? So like just little shit like that, it was like cool to see back in the day and shit like that.
Was
But
ASAP
yeah, it's
Yams
definitely
already big back then when you sent him beats? Like, was he
um
popular?
now this is right before ASAP Rocky popped off. Cause like,
Mm.
cause he was pushing it. He was pushing it. He was like, "Yo,
Mm.
this is gonna be the new thing. Just wait, blah blah blah." And back then, it was not that big at the time. Like he just came out, like I posted on Tumblr. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it was just
Tumblr.
like, yeah, And I was like, oh yo, I was like, yo, some beats, I fuck with this shit. I was just doing anything to like, just hustle and get some shit out there. You know what I mean?
But was back then, was there already this idea of getting rich with this shit and getting clout as big as it is now?
Nah, it's different now. Cause like Because back then, just to do it was cool. You know what I mean? Like just to do it was cool, and then like I guess the idea was like you're gonna like make a cool enough song where you get a record deal or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't, you get like
Yeah,
a production. You know what I mean? That was the whole idea. But like it wasn't like about like you know, oh I'm gonna make beats to get rich. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
But now I
it
think
was just
many people just see it as a business, you know? Just all right.
well, I mean, it is a business, and that's fair. Like back then, it was more of an art form too, you know, because like everybody had different types of beats, and many rappers had different styles of like the beats they wanted to go over. You know what I mean? So like if you're a producer, sometimes it was more about like, yo, this is my production style. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And I want like, oh, if a rapper doesn't want to rap on this, he doesn't get the style. I'm trying to find rappers that understand this style. You know what I mean? Because like the rap game wasn't so trap based like it is today. You know what I'm saying? Like now there's kind of like one main style. You know what I mean? Like it's
But right now they're
like
switching it up a lot, you know? Like,
I mean, sure, there's drill and other stuff, but like the idea is like all of these are like aggressive and in your face. You know what I'm
oh yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like there's no like back in the days of like the beat for Purple Swag, bro, like ASAP Rocky's first
Yeah,
single. Like there's nothing like that today in
yeah.
like the current rap scene. It was like a slowed down kind of like this is for my people getting high with the word. You know what I mean? It was like you know the Clams Casino for example. There's nothing like Clams Casino in like today's production world, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like in hip hop production, you know, with like just like just wearing like really minimal drums and shit like that, you know. So like, and that's the thing. Back then, it was like everyone there was like different styles, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
as a producer, like you wanted to just get your style out there, you know. Like, but like, possible because if it's about money, then really you want to produce as many songs as possible. You know what I'm
Hold
saying?
on,
And
the connection was lagging for a second. What did you say?
oh, I'm saying if it's about money,
Yeah,
then like then you just want to produce as many songs as possible, you know?
yeah.
And then like
In the same style. Like you have this one style that's working. All right, chuck, chuck, chuck. Push this out. Beat stars. All right.
yeah, exactly. And it's like okay, like, that works too. You know what I'm saying? Like I guess to each their own, you know.
Yeah.
Like but but I'm saying there was a time where Pharrell and the Neptunes, Chad Hugo, they like produced like 46% of the songs on the radio. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't do that with BeatStars. They didn't do that sending loops. You know, they did, and they didn't do that even just making beats. They did that shit working with artists and like building those songs and shit like that. You know.
I mean, almost
So
all the songs that are getting like sampled right now are produced by Benny Blanco, right? This dude.
really, I didn't even know
You
that.
know the dude Benny Blanco?
I know Benny Blanco, but I didn't know that
Yeah,
he's
like
the one who produced.
all those pop songs. You know, Britney Spears. No, Katy Perry.
Mhm.
Fucking Justin Bieber. Everyone. So
Yeah.
it's often like this Pareto rule, like 20% produce 80% of the products. 20% of
Yes,
the people,
exactly.
like a small fraction of the people produce everything that's like commercially big.
Am I too loud? Okay, cool. Thanks, baby.
Mm,
My girlfriend brought me a joint.
nice. Are you into shrooms? First, it looked like a shroom to me.
Yo, I love shrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
So that's crazy because that's the reason actually I came to Germany in the first place. If I never did shrooms, I would never have come to Germany. I can say that
What was your
for a
trip
fact.
like? What did it show you?
Well, it was my third time tripping. Like that made me come to Germany. And my first two trips were like cool. Every time I'm like, wow, you know, like just realizing the oneness of the world and
Yeah.
things like that, you know. But the third time I tripped, I was like, damn, I'm fucking depressed. Holy shit. I realized like I didn't like who I was inside deep down, you know. I realized that like, yo, I need to like make a change in myself and stuff like that. And like just all these different realizations about the world and just all the evils in America and all the shit that's like, you know, there's all the different shit like war and like 9/11. I was just thinking about everything, slavery, it all coming down. Like people getting killed. Like, what does it all mean? All the way back to like Adam and Eve, and I was like, damn, like man and woman, can never get along. Like, like, I was just going all the way.
Wait, what about Adam and Eve?
It was, dude. It was like going backwards in
Yeah,
time.
no,
So
it
like,
sounds fucking sick.
so I was like, so I was me, of course, but then I was like going down this tunnel of time. First, I was like going back to like, just people marching in the streets, and then I was like 9/11,
Yeah.
and then like fucking Waco, and then the beginning of America, and then them signing the Declaration of Independence, but then slaves working, and then more back to like cavemen, and then like ancient Rome, and then all the way back to like Adam and Eve. Like that's what my
All
brain
right.
was. Yeah. So I was just going like way back, and because like my brain was like, man, where do bad things come from? Like
Mm.
where does this negativity come from? And then I went all the way back. I was like, damn, it's the disconnect between man and woman.
That, all right, that was your
Like
conclusion.
yeah, I don't know why, but that, that
Damn.
was my conclusion.
But it is pretty. People say like money is the root of all evil, right?
Nah, money's just a thing. You know what I'm saying?
But people try to get like men try to get money because they want to procreate and shit or want to gain status.
The thing is, it
So
wasn't even about like
in the end, it all comes down to this. It's an
it
interesting
wasn't about
conclusion.
evil. It was about negativity.
Yeah.
It was about what's the source of negativity, not evil. Because like evil is just perspective. But like what's like it's about like what brings about the bad feeling in life. You know what I'm saying? Because in the shroom trip, I realized that the bad feeling in life, negativity, that's what hell is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, just like, oh, like, what is it? What's the root of it all? And I was like, the disconnect between man and woman. I figured out, I guess, like,
And then you thought, okay, I gotta move to Germany.
well, no, I was like, wow, I don't know anything about myself or life. Like, I thought I knew something, but I don't know shit. I want to just go somewhere where I don't know anybody, and I just want to like travel around. My goal really, I was gonna like try and work at a farm in Spain. That was like my goal.
How old were you at that age?
I just turned like, um, I had just turned like 22
Sick.
around then.
So you were like, okay, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I'm just gonna go to work somewhere and get new experiences.
Yeah, well, I'd already been back and forth to Germany a couple times, but this time I just went and like I used my money. I got like I just graduated university, so I had some university money and shit like that, and like money from family, and so I used that to get a train ticket that lets me travel around Europe. And like
Yeah.
I sold my Supreme. I remember at the time I got the new so the Adidas Yeezys had just came out, you know what I'm saying? So this is like 2014, 2015ish,
The
yeah. So the
Adidas
Adidas
Yeezys, all
Yeezys,
right.
yeah. And I remember I won the raffles every time, you know what I mean? So I was like super lucky every time getting on because I was big on Kanye at this time. Bam, 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 got the shoes. And after my shroom trip, I was like just like less materialistic. I don't know. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
fuck it, I just sold the shoes for the money to travel more and stuff like that. Cause I was just dead set. I just wanted to see the world and just like explore. And so then yeah, so then I went to Germany, and my dad was also working around Germany because he a contractor, so he was like working in Germany and stuff like that. So I saw him, and that's the reason I'd been to Germany before, you know what I mean? So that was like kind of how I knew about Germany.
And have you still been
Because
making beats at that time?
yeah, I was still making beats, but then after my shroom trip, I kind of like I stopped definitely for like 2 months. That
Mm.
was like definitely probably the longest time I didn't really make music like that because like I didn't stop making for 3 months. Pretty much like not like I would say like 2 months because at the end of the month I made a mixtape with some people. I produced it for this one chick, and she does like bands and stuff like that. A lot of just like local music stuff type shit. You know what I mean? Like the thing is, like Virginia doesn't really have like a super strong music scene like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I
the
never
thing
heard
about
about it.
Yeah, Virginia. I mean, Pharrell's from Virginia. You know, I mean,
Okay.
Pusha
Ooh.
T's from Virginia. Um, who else? Timbaland's from Virginia. You know what I mean? Missy Elliott's from Virginia. You know, a lot of great musicians are from Virginia. You know, but it's just like doesn't have like the biggest music scene and like that. You know what I mean? So I was doing stuff down there for people, and then I went to Germany. You know what I mean? And
And did you
yeah, I
do
don't
you
know.
still study, or what were you studying? You
So I started studying music, and then I dropped out of music school after like a year and a half, and then I studied English. so, so,
sick.
so yeah, just reading hella books. But actually, I have to say I'm grateful for that because I read a lot of books, and I feel like I learned a lot from like I learned a lot about just the world and shit. I feel like from all the books I read in life,
But
kind of like
what kind
prepared me
of
for my
books
journey.
did you read in English class?
Do a lot of books, like a lot.
Like
Like I couldn't
philosophy
even
or
like
history or what? Self
yeah,
help?
just like different books, like literally a lot of different types of books. Like there are books that were so weird, you know, like weirder than like someone like Franz Kafka, for example. Like you read like a bunch of Kafka books, and then like even weirder than that, like some like weird Brazilian authors that are just like just really challenging perspective and stuff like that, and then like political books too, and stuff by great writers like Immanuel Kant and like George Hegel, like the German guys, honestly. Like, like Kant and Hegel and stuff like that. And like, just like the Greek shit, like Socrates, and like Plato and like just like a lot of books, a lot of like shit of,
What
like
do you think has influenced you the most? Because I think I need to get more into this shit, read more about it.
honestly, I think I think like everyone should read like on a basic level like Socrates, like the shit he
Socrates.
wrote. Yeah, because a lot of shit for like just
Socrates
because a lot of
got banned. That's what I heard. He got like banned because he
no,
influenced the youth, right? In a bad way. Isn't it what happened?
yeah, but that was back then. But the thing is like we say like for example, we live in a democratic society, right?
Yeah.
And like Socrates made democracy. You know what I'm saying? So like you so it's like okay, this guy made the structure for how we live in our political system for like most Western countries, right? But then you should go read what he actually wrote about democracy, what
Yeah.
he said about it. You know what I'm saying? And then when you actually read what he says about it, you get more perspective on like what's going on today and what democracy really is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you think, oh wait, is this really the best system, or is it just like one that is understood for these reasons? You know what I mean? Because Socrates breaks it down a long time ago. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
The
need to
thing is
read
that
about it because
yeah, the thing is, a lot of people don't read that shit, so you're just like you're just living in a world, and people are playing these games with you, but you don't know what the games are, and that's why I think like a lot of these old texts are really important because if you know the games that they're playing, then you know kind of how the world is and what's going on, because everything is just games, like a game is just like there's a set of rules and there's an end result, you know what I mean?
and there's a winner and a
And
loser.
yeah, there's a winner and loser, exactly. And now sometimes the loser is you. You know what I'm saying? But it's not fair because you don't know you're playing a game. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And that's how the world works. You know what I'm saying? That's literally how the world works. I swear to God.
I think it's also important to read the shit like for me right now because people has have those um those labels, on certain stuff like democracy good, this bad. Like what you said before, it's no evil, no good, but they have those labels and they immediately think when they hear something, okay, that's good and that's bad. So yeah, it's
Exactly.
pretty sick.
But it's like a divide and conquer type of thing. You know what I'm saying? But democracy is a game too. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different levels to how democracy works. It's really crazy. Like it's not just about winning and losing. It's about how to win and lose. You know what I mean? And like you know like how and then the fact that it's political and based on a majority of people's wants, like how susceptible it is to manipulation. You know what I'm saying? Like democracy is a super
Yeah.
manipulated democratic system,
How is it
a
so
super manipulative
democratic?
political
Why do they have
system.
to put so much fucking money in marketing, for their like campaign? They should if
Well, they have to.
yeah, I know, but
That's why.
that makes it a little bit you see this Facebook
Well,
ad and you change your mind.
exactly. That's what that's when you have popular vote. Really, all you have to do is get some guy who's gonna just lie to everybody and say, "Hey, what do you want?" Oh, and really, what democracy can come down to somebody just handing out $100 bills in front of the voting office. It's like, "Yo, vote for me. Here's $1,000, bro. Like, fuck it. Like, I'm rich as hell. Everyone in this line who votes for me gets $1,000. Here's a suitcase. Let's go." Like, you know what I'm saying?
Ja.
Like that's what democracy can become.
Leute, leider muss ich kurz unterbrechen. Es gab ein bisschen Probleme mit der Aufnahmesoftware. Die Audio hat gecrackt. Die auf dem Stream sind, wissen, was passiert ist. Leider, Leute. Er hat gerade darüber geredet, wie er nach Deutschland gekommen ist, die ersten Placements, die er hatte in Deutschland. Und sein erstes großes war Averex. Und er redet darüber, wie es wichtig ist, Percentage auszuhandeln, also Averex mit Rin, wenn man Placements bekommt mit größeren Rappern. Also da geht's jetzt wieder weiter. Er redet über Averex, Leute. Tut mir leid, viel Spaß mit dem weiteren Podcast, Leute.
Yeah, but yeah, no, percentages, yeah, that's important. I don't know. And like, for me it's just like yeah, if you like I guess at the top levels of music it's hard to have those conversations and shit. And yeah, back to my story, what happened was like the song came out, I was like, what the percentages, da da da. Like they're like, yeah, yeah, blah blah, we'll deal with that. I'll like, yo, what's going on? I talk to Nintendo. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like the song is out and going crazy, but like I'm like, and the tape dropped, and so I produced also two songs on the tape. So I was like, yo, dope, but like, what's the specifics for my shit so I can register the songs, you know what I mean, through like, the GEMA, BMI, all the shit, you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? Get my royalties and shit like that. And then he's like, yo, I don't know, blah blah. So I was like, oh well, can you get me shit for Splash Fest? Can you get me the Splash Fest? Blah blah. He's like, hell yeah, blah blah. Got me in. So that's how me and my brother got in, and we just had the general shit. And I remember just standing there and like we're performing Averex. Everyone's going crazy, and I'm just like standing in the very back of the crowd.
You weren't in the
Like,
backstage.
no, I was just standing there in the crowd. I was like, fine. I was like, cool. I was like, cool. They really like this song. Wow, What I mean?
All right.
Yeah, it wasn't in the backstage or nothing like that. You know what I'm
That's
saying? I was just
fucked.
like, yeah, man, that's how they do. That's how they try to play me. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay. I didn't really care about being backstage that much. I was happy just to go there. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really like being.
I
I've been
would
backstage.
I would care,
What?
man. That's the best shit. Like I don't want to be in the crowd. I hate being in crowds right now. I just want to meet my homies, backstage, just being in the crowd.
I mean, I was with my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all
So
right.
like, it was just cool to like have fun at the festival with my bro. You
Had a
know what
good
I mean?
time.
Yeah, exactly. Like
All
I didn't
right.
care about being backstage, but I still was like, I was like, wow, like, I worked on this song and like they don't even have me like over there with them or whatever. And yeah, because like we worked on that whole tape. I was there working for the work of the whole tape. I produced two tracks on the tape, and I worked on,
Did you
what I'm
keep
saying? So
working with him after that?
not after that, after that it was like, you know what I'm saying? It was fucked up kind of because like,
Yeah.
you know, because I got a lawyer to do this shit, and he was like, yo, why'd you get a lawyer? Da, da, da.
Why you get a lawyer? Come on. Yeah,
And I
okay.
was like, yo, I was like, this is how it works. I tried to talk to you guys, but I was like, I tried to just talk on some homie shit with you guys, but like, it wasn't like that. So it's all good. And he apologized. It's all straight now. But that's when I was like, okay, like fuck it, you know, I have the talent. Like, nobody's that great in the world. You know what I'm saying? People are gonna try and dick you. It's
Yeah.
just business. You know, like at the end of the day, I'm still gonna enjoy making music and have fun. But like, at any moment, some of these guys are businesses. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah,
sometimes the business steps on the little guy. So
yeah. So, someone that you have many US placements with, Palace, how did you get to know him? How did that connection start?
Yeah, we started working actually like so around the time I was working with Ren. Um, a bit before that, that's when I met Palace, and he had just gotten signed to 808 Mafia kind of. But before that, he was just a homie from Time. I met him from Time, really. And he
Mm.
was just a little homie from Time, and I was like, all right, cool. And then like he was like, yo, like I need help writing some melodies, bro. Can you send me some midis? And I was like, yeah, sure. Send him some midis and stuff like that. And then I went to LA, and I was like, yeah. Um, he was in LA at the same time with Electo. You know what I'm saying? And Electo is a real fucking wizard. You know what I'm saying? Like true master with this shit. And they were there working on shit. And um and yeah, then we just worked super good together. And I was like, yo, I'm always writing anyways, like. Cause I always just make music like just for fun all the time. I was like, yo, I'll send you these ideas. You can like use and make you could, cause he was super dope at sound design. So he was like, yo, I'll clean up the ideas and we'll use them and send them out for placements and shit like that.
Ideas in the sense of like an FLP or.
Yeah, everything. FLPs, MIDIs, like, sometimes like a full beat, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
check this one. Shit like that, just like, yeah. And we just grinded that out for like a minute, you know what I'm saying?
And you were in LA too. You were all together, all three.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
So how did you like it in LA?
I love LA. I love the first time we went was super cool and chill and stuff like that. Second time we went, it was super dope because there was like a Netflix team there and shit like that. You know what I mean?
A
But
Netflix theme.
yeah, yeah, they're filming some shit. Well, I mean, I think they're filming like a little documentary for Palace and shit like that. You know what I mean? For like during media or some shit like that.
All right.
Yeah. But but like yeah, that was good as times during coronavirus. Was a bunch of crypto shit. You know what I'm saying? Me and Palace did so much different stuff. You know what I mean? It was cool.
Crypto shit. You're into crypto?
Oh yeah, I love crypto.
Yeah.
Mm.
What like coins do you like, or why do you like it so much?
Oh man, I want Ethereum is the best coin. You know what I'm saying?
Ethereum.
For like Ethereum is the future, yeah, but that's like a whole nother topic, man. It's
Yeah,
a whole
yeah,
nother.
yeah. So
But yeah, yeah, me and Palace worked together, made hella placements together. It was sick, you know what
you
I mean?
remember the first one, or did you stop being excited about placements already? Right?
Yeah, at this point, I was just like focused on making music. I just wanted to make cool melodies, and they'll find their place in the world. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that's really it. You know what I'm saying? And then lawyers will handle the rest. You know?
But have you also been in the studio with rappers in Los Angeles or in the US?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, just writers, really. You know what I'm saying? No one like crazy big. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, just writers and stuff like that. I haven't had a session yet with like a really big artist, like right there in the studio. You know what I mean?
But they're
But
writers
I
from
plan to,
labels, or
honestly.
what? They write
Yeah,
songs
just
and
like yeah,
sell
just,
them.
just songwriters. You know what I mean? People coming in. You know what I mean? Like all the major artists have writers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? People like Jace and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Like
Like
Jace,
I don't know if you know him, but Jace, he's like a legendary Atlanta rapper, but he's like a writer now. You know what I'm saying? And like
the
yeah,
guy
like I've
that
been,
snitched,
huh?
the guy that snitched.
No, not Yays, not Jay, not Yays. Different guy,
All
different
right,
guy. Retro Jace is his name. Different guy,
all
different
right, all
guy.
right. So
Is is this true that he snitched?
I don't know. I
Is this true? Because
there
I love Blush. Blush by Ye is one of my favorite songs right now.
I liked a couple songs from him too. Like, but the thing is, in the US, if you snitch, that's the craziest thing. Like that
Yeah,
destroys your
I kind of get
reputation.
it too. Because like I don't want to hear you rapping about guns and shit like that if you snitched. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah,
you
but
know,
you think the rappers in US they're living what they say, like the big
nah.
ones.
But like you can like you can lie about rapping about street shit and also like just never get into street shit in real life, so you never have to snitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But if you're rapping about street shit and then you snitch, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, Yeah.
For me, it's like, all right, like I don't know. It's like, why you rapping about that stuff then? Like, why you like being like that? You know what I mean?
So
For me, someone like 6ix9ine is a whole different case. But like, you
yeah,
know,
yeah, that's complicated. But it's also, do you think for a rapper nowadays it's important to be real and authentic?
nah. I mean, you have to be like expressing yourself authentically, but like music is also storytelling. You don't have to like, you know, always be like, yo, this is exactly, you know what I'm saying? You can use metaphors. You can like, if you could tell a good story doesn't have to be true. You know what I'm saying? It can just be a good story. You know what I mean?
True.
You know?
And the writers are also there for a reason, right?
Yeah, and a good story is based on reality. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know the song "Careless Whisper"? Like, I'm never gonna dance again. Just if you got no rhythm. Like the song, like,
No,
you know the
bro.
fucking. He simply just fucking. He was like a kid. He wrote that song as a kid on the bus. He just wrote a song. You know what I mean? But the song is about like, oh, you cheated on your girl, and like, how like, he's never gonna dance with that girl again in his life and stuff like that. But he was just a kid riding on the bus. He's like, yo, I never even had a girlfriend before in my life. I just wrote
Yeah.
that shit. It's like, yeah.
Safe.
but yeah, but like that's the thing. It's like, it's like people and I think he's gay, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah.
Yeah, true.
So like, he ended up gay. So anyway, so like, at the end of the day, like this is a story, you know what I'm saying? But that's like a classic song. And like only in rap, you know, people gotta be like, oh, that's true, blah blah blah. But if you listen to some '90s rap, man, it's like, come on, it's like that's not true. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like, like what? There's there's like fucking you know, the Locks, like Jada Kiss. They used to talk about like having boatloads of coke and shit like that and stuff.
I mean, it's always exaggerated. Even everybody knows it probably.
Exactly, but it's like, if you hear every rapper talk about their stories now, it's like, yo, as soon as I started rapping, man, I knew I had to stop that shit. I was like, da
Yeah.
da da.
Like Future talked about like he doesn't even do drugs. He just raps about it all the time because it makes him money.
I feel like he raps about drugs less now. Honestly,
Yeah,
I
true.
miss. Yeah, after Juice World died, I think he really stopped rapping about drugs as much.
But do you think it's immoral to like push this on the youth like this, but not even do it yourself just to make money? It is kind of, right?
I mean, if you're like rapping about the reality that you're around, and you're around drugs, you know what I'm saying? Then that's just one thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I feel like the listener has to have some kind of like understanding. You know what I mean? Because Lil Wayne was rapping about lean also like nonstop. You know what I mean? Like Wiz Khalifa was rapping about weed. Like,
True, and I
but
started because I heard Wiz Khalifa and I was like, oh, I want to see what this feels like, you know. And Danju was a big part of turning me to a stoner for
okay, well
sure.
that's the thing. That's the thing. For me, I already smoked weed before Wiz was big. You know what I'm saying? I already smoked weed in my life. So when Wiz came out, I was like, yo, this guy's so corny, like talking about smoking weed so much. I was like, this is the lamest shit ever. I was like, oh, it took me a while to get into Wiz. I started like it was like, but the weed didn't make me like him. It wasn't because he smokes weed. I was like, yo, why is this guy talking about weed all the time? Blah blah. It wasn't
Yeah.
until I listened to his music I was like, okay, he's talking about these other things about life, and I like this shit. You know what I'm saying? He's like, Wiz is actually a really deep rapper. He talks about a lot of cool life subjects.
He's
Not
deep.
just like,
You think he's deep?
yes, I think Wiz said some deep shit, man. Rolling Papers is a good album, man. He said some good shit in Rolling Papers, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know because I have this thing where if there's ever a rapper I don't like, I'm gonna like make a playlist of him and just listen to it like when I'm bored. You know what I'm saying? To like try and understand why people like them. You know what I'm saying? And like what's
Okay.
good about music. You know. And so my little brother was super into Wiz, and I did not like Wiz. I was like, "Yo, this is the corniest guy," and he was like, "Nah, I love it." And I was like, "All right, like fuck it, let me like listen to it when I'm driving and stuff like that, just see what's up, you know." And then like, and through that, I was like, okay, he's like not just talking about weed, you know, he's talking about other shit and stuff like that, and that's why I started to like him.
So
So,
on
but the
purpose,
point is,
you consume shit that you don't naturally like.
yeah,
You still do that?
yeah,
All
all the
right,
time.
sick. So, what's been something that you like consumed because you didn't like it prior, and did you have any great realizations about why people like it?
Honestly, recently, hyperpop.
Really,
That's,
you don't like all this glitchy hyperpop?
yeah, it's
All
fucking
right.
nonsense. And I don't, I like when I heard this shit, I was like, yo, this is like music for kids. You know, this is like if you like, you know, just need if you need your music to have like flashy ass effects and shit, like okay, like you know, this is like that kind of nerd shit, you know. But then like, you know, what Time was super into hyperpop. He was like, yo, blah, blah. So then, like one day, I just sat down, did some research, you know, like on like the history of it and like where it came from and the ideas of it and stuff like that, you know, and just kind of like really just did like a dive into it, and then like at the end, I appreciate it more. I'm like, okay, like cool, this is like a representation of like composing, but like in a computer laptop, you know, like PC era, you know what I'm saying? Of like it's a way people are like, composing music with no instruments, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like putting shit together through like audio files, you know, and shit like that, you know? And then like processing the vocals to represent like, you know, you're just recording like on maybe like a cheap Yeti mic, you know, and just having like as much effects as possible to hide the fact that it's a bad mic, you know, so like distorting and pitching up and like, like
No,
like so yeah, I don't know, I respect it.
it's definitely a great habit to do that, like to check out shit that you naturally don't like, you know, because
Hmm.
what you said before, like nothing is intrinsically evil or good.
Yeah, nothing is good, you know what I'm saying? Really, like Kant, Immanuel Kant. I think he's German too, Kant, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, he said like in art or like in life in general, there's like stuff you like. There's like something that's good, you know, whatever. And then there's sublime, which is like a special emotion and feeling where it's like you don't understand it at first, but then when your brain fights to understand it and then it does understand it, it's like, oh, you know what I mean? Then it's like, whoa, it's like special to you, you know what I mean? It's more like it becomes part of you, you know what I'm saying? Because you like went through an experience of understanding it, you know? And he said this is like the height of art, you know?
So in let's talk about what one placement. I think it was your biggest. What was Letty your biggest placement you had?
My biggest placement, I think, is living life in the night with
Oh, really,
kids.
kid.
I think that one has the most plays.
But it just blew up recently, right? Like
Yeah, I
really.
went crazy on TikTok recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I saw it. Just, I mean, crazy.
Did you make the song together, like in person?
Not in person. That was actually one of the last songs we did together. I'm not gonna lie. Like fucking, I remember I was chilling in the basement of my mom's house at the time, and like he emailed me and he was like, "Yo, like." Actually, he texted me though. He's like, "Yo, I'm working on this like song. I'm working on an English song, whatever. Like, can you make sure can you help me make sure the lyrics are okay, like the proper grammar and stuff like that, you know? And then like also like even the song needs anything, you know what I mean? And like the song had no drums or whatever, and we were both like, yeah, I think it needs like a little drum breakdown at the end or something like that, you know? He only had the piano and like the vocal parts. And I think it was just his vocals when first got
Mm.
it. I think like he added his girlfriend's vocals later, and then he made it like her song. But like, um, but yeah, like fucking yeah. So I added the drums, And in the beginning, I was like, the chop in the beginning. I did that too, you know, like because I was like, yo, it's cool like this, you know. That's it.
But
So yeah,
so yeah, say what you
and
were gonna
yeah,
say.
oh yeah. So then yeah, and then like like just cleaned up some parts, like did the drum breaks and shit like that. Sent it back, and then like a couple weeks later, he's like, "Yo, I'm dropping this song, but it's just my girlfriend's song, you know, nothing serious." Blah blah
Nothing
blah.
serious.
I was like, all right, whatever. And then it's like, I was like, whatever. Then the song came out, and it was like, getting hella streams. And I was like, bro, like we gotta make percentages of it, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? And then like once again, no, never fucking cleared up. We had to talk about it too, but then for some reason, like the percentages he put in were different and shit like that, you know.
Mm.
And then like I honestly at that point, I was like doing other shit and stuff like that, and I didn't care about the song at all. So like, I was like, I didn't really like do the whole lawyer shit with him, you know. I just kind of like left it alone, but just like, I was like, bro, like, are we ever gonna fix this? You know what I mean? Like, and like then management hit me up a couple times, you know, and then recently when the song was so big, you know what I'm saying, and like Sony's involved and all this other shit, you know what I mean, we finally cleared it up and stuff like that. So it was all cool and shit like that. But it was just, to me, it was like funny because every time we talked about this song, maybe it was like once a year after it came out. I was like, yo, it was like, yo, what's the deal here? Like,
Because it's fucking 185 million streams, man. That's like a lot of dough.
yeah, it's cool though. It's a blessing, and like I'm always happy about the song, and like like I'm proud of the kid for that too. I feel like that's a good achievement for him, and I think he deserves that because he's a great musician. I really respect his musicianship and his work ethic and shit like that. And I feel like in the German scene, he's like he was a pioneer, and I feel like he didn't get so I feel like didn't get like his just deserves, you know what I mean, like from the German rap
Yeah,
game. I feel like he kind of was like ended up being an outsider to an outside, you know what I mean. But I have empathy for that because I'm also kind of an outsider, you know what I mean. But like
outsider,
you know
outsider in what sense?
I'm definitely like an outsider. I'm kind of just like I do my work, but kind of like and do my thing. I put out my own music. I kind of just have my own little community. I don't really like, I'm not like jumping to work with everybody all the time and shit like that. I barely even look at my own catalog. Sometimes I'm just like making music by myself for like a month, and then I'll send stuff out and like, see what's going
Because
on. You know what I
something
mean?
that I would think if I would rap too and I produce, or I know people that rap and produce, and they're in this. If they were in the studio with Rin and Shindy, they would be like, "No way, this song is coming out and I don't have a part on it," you know?
Nah, I never do that. I never fucking like if I'm doing music with somebody else, then like and it's their session or whatever, then I'm giving 100% to them. You know what I mean? And then when they're writing a verse or something, like if the beat is dope or I really like the song, I might write a verse for fun. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But like I'll never like be like, yo, let me get a part on this, da da da. You know what I mean? If they ask me, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I'll never be like, yo, please can I get a part, or like yo, check out this
Or like
verse,
sneak a part in, because when you're.
yeah.
But do you think sometimes you have to put the ego to the side when you're in these rooms,
Yeah,
or
for sure.
do you
There
not even feel the itch to like be like, rap something on it?
Nah, I don't. There's no ego in it. If I rap something on it, it's just for fun.
All
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like sometimes I've done like we all freestyle in the rooms and shit like that, give ideas and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's never like I gotta be on the record. You know what I mean? It's not like that. It's like you're just passing around ideas, having fun. You know what I'm saying? Like the idea is king. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like you know if the song is like for a specific audience, it's got to sell, it's got to do certain things, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to hurt the song, you know what I mean? Like I just want to like make the song better. It's not about me. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
But
You know?
you mean people think about like it's gotta have some elements in it because it's for a specific audience? What do you mean by that? Do people discuss that in studios or what?
Yeah, it's like, if it's like, a song like this, you know what I mean? Then yeah, yeah, I mean, in the studios, it's just like if they're making a song of a certain genre, certain bounce and a rhythm. You know what I mean? It's like they're trying to make like a certain version of that. So
Yeah.
you might like have certain ideas. It might always got like this kind of feeling, this kind of idea, like this kind of melody. You know what I mean? Like just shit like that. Everybody has ideas, and you're trying to filter out the best ideas to make the best thing.
And like that's the crazy thing with like big rappers. They have so many fucking writers on the songs, right? Have you ever
Yeah,
been to sessions with so many fucking people working on one song?
yeah. I mean, like a lot of sessions are like maybe four producers sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, like somebody might like just like delete something, you know what I mean? Like, but like that's his contribution, like, or sometimes one day there's two people working on a song and then they take the song to another place, then there's like four people working on the song that day, you know what I mean? It could always change up, so
And
it
everybody who
depends on
touched it gets a piece of the cake, right?
sometimes, not all the time.
What would you say was your business wise your biggest regret or mistake that you made in like deals with songs and shit so people can avoid it?
Mm, I've had some I've had some it's hard to avoid some of these problems, you know what I'm saying? But like I've had placements that I didn't get credit for, you know what I'm saying, that I should have got credit for, and like yeah, like that's annoying, you know
Big
what I mean? Because
placements or
yeah, big ones, yeah. And like you gotta now like it's like okay, you gotta do work and go back and like, try and get that credit. Is it worth it? You know what I mean?
mm,
Because the streams always slow down, you know what I mean? And like shit like that, you know what I mean? It's like, what else? Like, um, songs. Sometimes songs come out and like I'm still trying to like finalize the contract for them. You know what I'm saying? So like in the music, in especially in the production game, there's a lot of pressure to just like sign your shit over to a publishing. You know what I mean? Because it's so difficult sometimes to like get all the proper fucking all the shit for all your songs. You know what I mean? So it's like might as well just sell your catalog to a label and let them handle it. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
So yeah, like everything that I would say is like a challenge is just stuff like that. Like, you know, um, I guess everything comes down to just like I've always trying to find the best lawyer. You know what I mean?
The money is
like that.
worth it.
Yeah, the money, not just the money, but like the lawyer that's gonna actually get shit done. You know what I'm saying? Like I would say, yeah, like any regret I have is just like thinking that anybody else has my best interest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in every situation, you know what I'm saying, where it was like, oh yeah, like this is gonna be handled. It never worked out like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Always have to get a lawyer. Always gotta do this shit to secure the stuff, you know what I mean? Well, it's always a job.
for sure. And
Mm.
do you think you can make like what do you prefer working with US artists or German artists like music and business wise?
Mm. Business wise, I would say it's hard. It depends on the artist, honestly.
But isn't I thought that's the case. I thought you get like points in America, but here it's rarer. Like it's harder uh to like fight for your fucking share of the song. But that's not the case for you.
Nah, 'cause it just depends. Like some people are pretty fair, honestly. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like
okay.
like honestly, you know what I mean? Like A lot of shit is fair if you like have a lawyer and stuff like that. You know, it's just like it just comes down to if they're gonna like avoid you. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, like you know, sometimes the lawyer hits them up and they ignore it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. You know, like it's just different shit. You know.
So
You know what I mean?
who's your favorite person to work with right now?
I love working with Dardon. He's
With
amazing.
Dardan. You still work with him a lot?
Yeah, we haven't worked with for a little bit, but every time it's always like super fun. I love working with them. And I love working with Crow. I worked with Crow recently, but like every time I worked with him, it was amazing. Just because like he's a true musician.
Hmm.
I love working with Palace always. Uh, I love working with. Honestly, I've always had a good time working with almost everybody. Honestly, you know what I mean? Yeah,
You think
like I
I've
love working with Time because he always forces me to do something different.
with time?
Yeah, he always
Yeah,
forces me to do something. I love that
for
shit.
sure, for
Yeah,
sure. Um,
yeah. I mean,
I think often friendships get saved when you have good contracts, you know, like maybe especially in music, but like in everything. If you do business together, if you have a clear contract, friendship gets saved. If not, it gets destroyed.
yeah, but sometimes other people get involved. Things happen. You know what I mean? Like everything's really outside of your control. That's the truth.
Do you right now have to like hustle to sell beats, or do you just, or are you more of the percentage type of guy? Because some
Yeah,
people, yeah,
that's the thing because like from the beginning, I was very like big on percentages. You know what I
same.
mean? Because at the end of the day, it felt like they didn't want to pay me. So it's like, all right, if you don't want to pay me, I give percentages. You
So
know what I
you
mean?
rather have a percentage than a fee for the beat, or both?
No, both.
Okay.
Both.
Well, sick.
The, the fee doesn't have to be that crazy, but like you just gotta be both. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope, bro. I swear, I never hear producers in Germany talking like this. You know that they really like stand up for their rights. You know, like it's gotta be more common for people. Take the
I don't know,
fucking percentage.
maybe it's just me. I'm sure like I think, you know, like other German producers maybe have like um, better business people around them who help them out and stuff like that. But for me, since like I did a lot of this shit on my own, you know what I mean? And like I had to handle a lot of my shit on my own, you know what I mean? Then like fucking it just made me be like, all right, like no
Yeah.
matter what happens, I need to make sure that I have my percentages so that when, the song makes money or gets streams, you know what I mean? I get my cut, you know what I mean? And then like, because if a label wants to like buy your catalog, that's what they're gonna buy. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's
Did
like what else would they want from you?
true, but
You
are
know?
you signed or not?
No, I'm not signed.
Because that must be so dope to have this passive income for the rest of your life, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, until people stop playing the songs.
yeah, but
So,
some songs that are really big, like they're gonna get played for fucking ever.
yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I pray. You know what I'm saying?
So you said you move into Berlin now, right? You're trying to get an apartment.
Yes, I'm trying to get an apartment for sure.
Where are you right now? Stuttgart still? Or?
Um, I'm still in. Yeah, I'm still in Stuttgart right now. Well, I'm like an hour away from Stuttgart in a
All right.
town called Hub.
So
Yeah.
it's hard getting an apartment in Berlin, right?
Hmm.
You didn't find.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
For
searching one
sure.
too, man.
Yeah, I'm still looking, but I'm praying for the best.
You like
I
the
know.
city?
Yeah, I love Berlin. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
Really? You think
Yeah,
so? Because I always thought, damn, it's so dirty. Like Vienna is so beautiful and so clean and shit, but Berlin is just good for fucking people. You know, you get good people there.
yeah, Berlin has cool people, and it's just like a shorter New York. You know what I mean?
Shorter
It's
New
like a
York.
It's small, yeah, it's like a
Ah,
small,
it doesn't go that high.
yeah, exactly. It's like a smaller New York, you know.
Yeah.
I love that. I love Dirty City. That's my heart.
And why Germany and not the US?
I go back to the US a couple times, honestly. I was back this year, you know what I mean? I have a cheap apartment right now and like I just, don't it's more expensive to live in the
Super
US,
fucking
honestly.
expensive, right?
Yeah, so it's just like fuck it, I could just fly back and see my family and then fly back here and just chill and go to Amsterdam, go to Spain, you know. I love to travel. I love freedom, you know what I'm saying? Like if like my if I can get a cheap ass apartment in a cool city, I'll be happy because then I can go travel places. You know what I mean? I could
Yeah.
like, book, I could because all right, like if I get rent in like DC, my family lives right now outside of DC. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay.
DC is like a super cool place too. But like DC is like what I'll be paying like $2,000 a month. You know what I mean for like maybe like a two-bedroom, you know what I mean, or
Mm.
even a one-bedroom bathroom. I mean, like in a nice area, it'd be cool. Or I could pay 1,000. I could pay the same money and live in luxury in Thailand. You know what I
In
mean for a month.
Thailand, yeah, that's true. Or
I could
Bali.
have like I could have like a pool and a fucking sauna and da da. I'd eat
Yeah.
cheap, delicious Thai food every day for a month. You know what I mean? So it's like, why would I live in DC? And like have to get a card, pay more for gas, pay more for food, blah blah. Or I could go here and travel. So
Yeah.
I love to just travel. That's my thing.